Okay. We have a,
Oh!
that was fun.
They didn't
But you don't
break
get
off.
anything.
Yeah.
A spin!
Oh my god!
Ooh, they have like a Bushido sword.
You gotta watch out for Core. Look at that.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna hit the camera. If I'm gonna be honest.
What's inside?
Wait, wait, guys.
Yeah.
Guys,
What's
the most
inside the
important part.
pinata?
It's a
Actually, that's pretty cute.
Oh, that was good.
I like that one.
I'm glad about that one. I did not expect them to have the follow-up on what was actually.
It was
Yeah.
perfectly timed too. I was like, what's there?
Team Liquid may not end this split in first, but they definitely are first place in the walk-in rankings.
They owned walk-ins.
And it's not close.
They've been really, really fun.
Find your niche. Find what you're good at. Is it League of Legends? Maybe not. Is it hilarious intros to your games? Maybe.
I mean,
Huge.
Tactical won with Kai'Sa earlier. If Team Liquid can find their intro version of League of Legends, then they can go for that.
Exactly.
Small stakes going into this matchup. If Team Liquid lose, they're still in a tiebreaker situation with NRG, which doesn't really matter. Side selection. If they win, they got sole position of fourth, which is typical for Team Liquid. So, fourth place Team Liquid, go.
Yeah. Are they destined for fourth? You never know. Poppy out and Jace out from TL. On the Dignitas side, they've already taken out the Rumble. We've seen how powerful that
Top gap, top shy.
Can't Summit.
Honestly, just getting onto the topic of Summit, just such a really talented player in lane. A lot of it, even in the last game that we saw getting picked off on side lane, I think 2 times in my memory. I'm sure a little bit more, but just been a constant conversation. But he is still a dominant laner. Now going up against Rich, that to me is a matchup I really want to see again.
Yeah, and as we see, the Cannon taken out also against Summit, and then the LeBlanc taken out from TL. Summit is such a polarizing pick for first team All-Pro, right?
Yeah.
As we're discussing.
I think
who's
Rich as
gonna-
well is really polarizing.
Yeah.
because a lot of people see Rich way up there in the rankings.
There's a lot of conversation
Not from the
around
Discord channel.
not in the Discord channel, but there's a lot of conversation from pros about playing against certain people way more often in scrims,
Yeah.
way more focused on lane phase because that's the direct time that you're playing against this person, and a lot less focus of what happened on stage. Like, how many pro players in the LCS do you think watched the game where Rich inted on Alawi last game of the week on
It's
Friday?
like it didn't
Yeah.
exist.
It's like it didn't exist to a lot of pro players' minds because they didn't experience it by playing against it, and they might not have watched that game. So there are times where there's like each voting group kind of has its biases, and
Yeah.
like playing against Rich will give you a much stronger opinion on him.
Yeah, and we'll see what Dig want to do
Girls'
with
night!
Rich. They have typically saved that kind of 4-5 pick for Rich on red side. Interesting coming out of TL, there was no Ziggs ban, and they prioritized the Tristana over the Kai'Sa, which is typically what we've seen when both of these champions have been left open on the blue side first pick.
Yeah, but then they hard lock the double demolitionist already, so it's like Trista's bot lane because it would be okay into Kai'Sa, but Kai'Sa could still be mid, so curious to see where Dig goes in this draft. Another important call out in terms of playoff possibilities though, Raz, is Dig can still make top 6.
Oh, there it is.
Right?
Yep.
So they need to win this one, and then they can play a tiebreaker game against TSM depending on how the rest of things play out. So they really want to win here.
So the fans calling for a Pyosik Kindred. Might be in Nautilus instead, unfortunately for the fans.
Could be bot lane.
Could be bot lane,
Yeah,
Nautilus,
probably
Ziggs,
jungle.
just kind of wave clear and be uninteractive and go roam around, hopefully.
But the point that you made, actually, about the Ziggs and Tristana, really interested to see if they end up just holding the flex and just seeing, okay, yeah, with top lane Renekton, but just where the Kai'Sa ends up going. If it goes mid, then we'll probably just see the Tristana follow it. That being said,
Everyone's using these signs to advertise their Venmo.
That was
their tournaments
I was
they
gonna say,
want you to
yeah.
enter.
There it is. But I don't see Yeon on Ziggs. Don't think
No.
that's a possibility.
What?
No,
Oh, it's a double
I
flex
definitely
for sure.
think it's a
think he's a
Tristana
player?
bot, Ziggs mid.
Okay,
Tristana top Ziggs bot, you mean, and then mid lane still needs to get picked.
So
go on.
I don't think that APA is not going to play Ziggs, but Yeon actually does play mages.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
pretty good at them. He did it a lot in scrims
Yeah.
and in Academy back in the 2021, 2022 days.
Okay.
So he's a threat.
I'm interested now.
Yeah.
If his
Not
mid
gonna
laner
happen
saying
yet.
I can play Ziggs, he might be the one saying I can play Ziggs too.
You think Yeon and APA are currently fighting over who wants to play Ziggs?
No,
I'm sure
APA
that's
is
all
gonna
comms
get-
are right
Yeah,
now.
APA, yeah.
Bro, I was the one who started the Ziggs trend. Doesn't matter. I really
Less-
like it into Kai'Sa bot.
Less fighting, more excited. Maybe fighting once they get into 4-5 and actually have to decide where that goes.
And And once again, Digger not saving that counter pick for Rich. He looks like he's just going blind Renekton.
I mean, when you have Rich, you might not need counterpick because he's so confident in his matchups.
Too confident. But I will say the Ivern pick here for Santorin, he's actually done really well on the pick so far this split. Even hearing Shaden earlier on saying this, he doesn't play it, but like it's just such a broken champion.
Yep.
I like the Sejuani ban that has been the response to Ivern so far. The fact that you can fling the Daisy back. And just you're a sturdier tank in fights. So I'm wondering what TL is actually going to put in the jungle. You're right, it could just be a Nautilus jungle. It's a nice flex that they have on 3, but want to see a little bit more coming in from Pyosik. Not sure what just yet.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of hit both the angles there for Dig when they banned Sejuani and Emilio, saying, well, technically, either one of these is where Nautilus is going to go, but we're going to get rid of some of the annoying things that we might have to deal with.
Yeah.
Nautilus taken as well. Or, excuse me, Alistar.
Yeah, I want to see what Summit plays in top lane. I think it's just going to be the biggest ego battle up top lane this game.
Bust out the Quinn, show him how it's done.
Ooh. I wouldn't put it past them.
Okay, so
Pyosik Lee Sin.
Yeah, all right.
And once the Alistar's locked in, Core is more comfortable taking Nautilus because he's not going to hard lose lane. So
no double range matchup to abuse you quite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Still don't know what the AD carry is going to be though, because Dig is holding that mid bot flex till the end.
Could be an R angle.
It could be an R angle. He's weirdly enough, he hasn't won that many games on Gnar.
Yeah. Wow.
This is the anti-ego battle.
None of us saw expecting.
Or is it the ultimate ego battle? Saying, I don't even need to pick a counter matchup, skill issue type of Quinn matchup here where I'm going to try and dump your lane. He thinks so little of him, he says, I'll take Ornn and just scale.
Wow.
That's the pitch for trying to make Ornn
narrative you
interesting.
spinning here. No.
Yeah, it's the Summit.
Is it working?
This is the Summit ego pick.
Right, like for anyone else, if Solo picks this, it's not an ego pick.
Yeah.
When you get Summit to play Ornn, he is disrespecting you.
He played it versus Fudge early on in the
won with
split.
Ornn.
Exactly.
He's an
That's
Ornn
my
player.
point.
Yeah.
Disrespect.
It was disrespectful.
I hate this.
Summit is now an Ornn player. Azir is what ends up getting locked in for Jensen, and we will see what Flowers and Kobe think of these drafts and whether they think Summit Ornn is an ego or not.
It's a big
selfless.
ego. Big ego.
All right, the most important thing is the guy that you can all hear at home cheering his heart out when he sees the Ornn locked in.
The Ornn
also
guy.
has an Ornn horn here that he then sounds when Ornn gets locked in.
Let me put my mic.
Yeah, hold your mic closer to the Ornn horn guy. All right, here you go, fans at home. We got the Ornn horn summoned up for Summit and Team Liquid.
I hope that came through.
In our second to last regular season non-tiebreaker match for Summer 2023. TL versus Dig, Rich versus Summit, the top lane Spice.
Yeah, actually, this was the matchup I was most excited for and most prepped for. These are the two top laners with the highest forward percentage of anyone in the entire league, and going against each other, the two most aggressive laners that we have in the LCS, and top laners also have the highest forward percentage of any role. So they are the two highest players of any role in the entire league. Let's see how they play the Ornn matchup. It's not a spellbook Ornn though.
Okay.
I was really hoping it was going to be spellbook so we could point out the Ignite spellbook kill
The mega
window
combo at level
where,
6?
Yeah, you get level 6 and you get your Ignite and then you try and go for the multi-brittle combo, but it is just the grass here for Summit. So he is really dedicated to playing the front line here for Team Liquid to be the role player, not as explosive of a matchup, but gives it so much more sustain.
All right, so on the other side, we got the Azir like we saw last game. We have Kai'Sa back in here. Willing to bet that's going to be the typical AP poking build. But over on Team Liquid, we have one of the greatest AP poke champions in all of League of Legends. We've got that Ziggs, man. The long-range power on this guy, specifically with APA, who's played it plenty of times so far this split and showcased his knowledge of it. You got to be ready for that if you're on Dig. But for now, let's go ahead and send things over to Gabby and TL's coach Rainover for a quick interview.
Thank you, Captainflowers. Well, I have to ask you the questions on all of the analysts' minds. Is Ornn for Summit an ego pick?
I wouldn't say Summit was very happy about Ornn pick, but I do think it was a pretty good pick in this game. So, I just forced him to play a little bit. Yeah.
How often does it happen, you having to force or give a little nudge to players to pick what you want?
Not usually, but this game is pretty important for us. So I kind of want to less limit test and then just go for like a comfortable, like stable picks. Yeah.
And why is it so important for you and the team? Is it looking forward to playoffs, kind of running off this momentum? What's your focus?
I mean, this game, if you win, you don't have to play the tiebreaker. You just go straight. Also, going into playoff, like we're gonna have the side selection, I guess, for the playoff game. So it's very important.
Last really quick question to you. Are we going to get to see you in one of these intros that the team has been taping every day?
I'll try to join it, yeah.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that.
All right,
for now, let's get back in the game.
I love that answer. Rainover is such a nice guy. He's like, I don't usually force them to play, but this game is pretty important, so you're on tank duty there.
Less limit testing, the way that he wanted to put it. Yeah, we're at the point now where we know exactly how much each game is worth, so TL doesn't want to throw this one out.
All right, so to catch up on what's happened already in this game with the jungle paths, the super quick Ivern clear. We're going with the regular path here for Santorin. You start blue into channel Wolves, and then you channel full red side, and you go back and just smite the Gromp so that you don't have to crisscross both sides of the jungle again. And it comes out, look at that, really, really early. You can even do it a little bit quicker than this.
Yeah, man.
But getting over here towards River well ahead of the spawn of Scuttle Crab. And that's what so many solo queue junglers right now are so frustrated in playing against Ivern, because you can finish so quickly. You can preemptively set up for the arrival of Scuttle Crabs. You can even get ganks in before the enemy jungle finishes out on their full clear. And Santorin is using his Ivern time, I like to call it, your free time before the Scuttle Crab comes up, to go get this nice deep ward to see the transition path basically towards blue quadrant.
And you know, in the history of League of Legends and jungling, there's been some of these like fast jungle paths before, but they're a little bit risky, right? Like you can end up low on health or maybe vulnerable to an invade.
Or you got to have like good skill shot hitting everything.
No,
and, like,
Ivern's just walking around like, I'm going to farm this one, and I have full HP, so stay away. I'm level 4 at 3 minutes. Summit just kind of whooping on Rich up here in a 1v1. Ornn versus Renekton.
Oh, whooping him all right. Let's see if that is an ego pick or not. Getting some grass procs while he's at it and building up his own items. Seems to be in his happy place here, despite being on a tank.
All right, he crafts that bucket of space goo into a cloth armor, so now it's going to be even harder for Renekton to hurt him.
The Space Groove line of skins is the one that tilts me actually the most, because it is so goofy. And then I never respect the kill threat of any opponent wearing those skins. I guess that's the point.
Silly spacemen with all these wacky sound effects, but
you never expect the silly spacemen to be the ones coming for your head.
What is Space Groove Ornn's Ornn horn? Is it still a ram, or is it something different? I feel like I usually see other Ornn skins.
Now
I'm really going to be watching that. The
Can't
first
wait.
time we see the Ornn horn, I want to see what kind of wacky alien he summons up.
I know one other person in the audience that's really looking forward to that horn as well. And I guarantee you we're going to get a live Ornn horn as well as the in-game Ornn horn.
Well, he has to go back and buy his item for real this time because he was running a little bit low on resources. So he teleports back into lane. Bramble Vest completed, makes it more difficult for that Renekton to trade into him and heal back up with a Call of the Meek afterwards, as APA has control over the mid lane here. He's got more mana, more health, more minions, more damage on the enemy turret. Lane phase is just all APA all day in these first 5 minutes.
And honestly, I really do like the Ornn as much as we're talking about some of the comical sides of it with this composition. When you have a Ziggs, you have so much AoE long-range damage potential later on in the game, and you just need people to set you up. You just need a little bit of CC on your team to keep them in place for the bombs to drop.
Yeah.
And when they have the Nautilus paired with the Ornn, TL have set themselves up with some very good late game insurances to allow APA to get the maximum damage out of the Ziggs. Meanwhile, this Lee Sin seems to be finishing up with the Dragon. Pyosik has Smite. He can Q combo it. Santorin's looking around, but bottom lane for Team Liquid is here first. So even though Pyosik goes a little early on the Smite, no punish. So thank you, bottom lane.
That's just trusting CoreJJ. He's saying, all right, I know you won't let him near. All right, here comes the Ornn horn. The wacky alien ram charges through. Rich pops Dominus trying to survive. Summit will not chase after him hyper aggressively. Instead, he'll just take the win that he earned there.
All right. Walk away.
Eat the fruit.
The river. Eat your fruit.
Do crocodiles even eat apples normally?
Definitely not.
I think that if a crocodile had his mouth open, I threw an apple in there, he would munch it.
So I just saw this TikTok that went viral with one of those like crocodile handlers where they're messing around with. They're like, look at me, my friend crocodile is not gonna bite me, right? And then sticks his hands up and immediately starts screaming. It's like, then it cuts out there. It's like, oh my.
That's an aggro Renekton right there. Bottom side 2v2. Dignitas winning out in this one as Yeon is below half HP. CoreJJ having to take a bit of a thump in there too, as Tomo at least suffers some damage back from the explosive shot. Back up here in top lane. Man, every time the camera pans up here, Summit is just bonking him.
Yeah, the early Ornn is often underestimated. Pyosik's here for the follow-up. Good W to him.
Yep, Rich trying to flash out here. Pyosik flashing in range. Oh, that Sonic Wave ends up going wide. Now TL's in some trouble. Santorin and Daisy have reinforced Rich, and Pyosik and Summit have to head back to the turret.
Yeah, you can see the idea from Pyosik. You want to flash onto Rich, get the slow so he could guarantee his Q follow-up there, but then Santorin's there also, and then Q goes a little wide. So no kill, but the Daisy goes down. 50 gold.
Nice pickup from Pyosik. You get rid of the extra power for Santorin, and you get 50 gold in your own pocket.
Always love trying to take that down for the extra. Same with Annie as well.
I save Smice for her. I'm just like, I don't even want the dragon more than I just want to kill this Daisy.
All right, now moving a little bit more aggressively. He knows he has no Daisy, but because mid lane here, Jensen's pushing a little bit harder on the Azir. Pyosik can't take any sort of skirmish there with the Ivern. Doesn't want to get caught by the rest of the team coming over, and it's a good thing because Poome was a little bit earlier on the support recall. CoreJJ joining now.
So worth pointing out, neither of the supports have the level 6 available. That means no extra engage potential for CoreJJ and no, oh man, I gotta get out of here potential for Poome. So either of these guys, not quite as strong as they would like to be for this first Herald fight. Sometimes we can see supports hit that level 6 mark before we get to this battle, but there is no battle to even speak of. It's Dignitas with control over the topside river, with Rich and Santorin picking this one up.
Now look, they're doing the same thing that we were talking about last game. The team that takes Rift Herald has to work their way back towards this bottom tower, and it's just a rotation from Team Liquid. They cut off this avenue once again to make sure no reinforcements to get Tristana off a tower. And it's even bigger this time around because it is a Tristana. And, you know, Team Liquid are running the double Yordle demolition squad. Summit goes for another Ornn Horn, doesn't get the second auto here, has to keep running.
Yeah, Rich is gonna get the better of him in that one, but Yeon just took off the second plate right now here in the bottom lane. So even if Dignitas gets their respected 2 plates out of the Herald, hey, Yeon already traded back even.
Yep. There is, of course, the 300 gold for killing the Rift Herald as well. But a lot of experience goes along with losing the minions that are dying to the tower as well while Yeon is pushing it up. So you can see Yeon is level 7 right now. Slight little extra advantage for Team Liquid in addition to the plate money.
Well, Tomo catches up immediately as we're talking about it. Pyosik versus Santorin. Santorin get knocked away, and it's the first strike extra projectile that gives APA the first blood with the Mega Inferno Bomb from the long-range distance as Jensen, Poome, and Tomo are trying to get one back. Pyosik's running back towards the minion wave. He uses Sonic Wave, but Rich is ready to collapse on him.
Rich with the roam down. So Pyosik right into his waiting arms there. Was about to say, like, that's a beautiful setup. The synergy between Pyosik and APA without even speaking the same language has been on point. CoreJJ's not letting Poome get away.
APA is ready to bring the damage here on this one too. Nice use of the satchel charge to make sure that Alistar's escape route doesn't go anywhere at all. Yeon picks up the kill and Team Liquid's up over 1,000 gold.
Who let these animals out, Flowers? Crocodile's roaming down the mid lane. Alistar's lost in the river here, swimming around, gets killed up by 3 members of Team Liquid.
The alligators are on land and the cows are in the water. None of it makes sense, and Dignitas is trying to make sense of anything right now. Down 1,000 gold here. Let's take another look at how this first play happened.
Love it. Going for the duels onto Ivern. Every jungler wants to do this versus Ivern players, but oftentimes you get punished. Pyosik goes past the Daisy, ward hops over. Even though Santorin flashes, Pyosik hits this Q, and that made all the difference. So he did, kicked him out of it, but it popped off of the wolves, it looked like. It's hard to tell with that skin.
I think it might have been the bomb hits like wolves and the Luden's bloop jumps over.
It was the Luden's bloop. That was the
Luden's bloop tags the jungler, and then you get the first strike 3 damage from the bloop, and that ends up killing.
So that whole speech about the synergy and everything, we'll ignore that part about the...
No, Luden's bloop. That's what it's all calculated.
Hell yeah.
It's all calculated. That was the bloop of doom. As Team Liquid is now starting up their second Drake of the game. They were able to get that first one free and easy, and it looks like the second isn't going to tell a different tale, as CoreJJ and Yeon, with their control over the bottom lane, are going to protect Pyosik, make sure nobody from Dig thinks even twice about going near there, and that's a nice 2-0 Drake lead for TL. It's an Ocean Rift too, so if they can keep these going forward, you're going to have that nice big beefy front line with the Ornn, potentially with an Ocean Soul there too. Very scary for Dig.
Definitely is. This whole game really scary for Dig. Oh my god, we just saw Lee Sin killing Santorin. Now we cut back to it and he's already dead.
The observers were trying to protect us from the gratuitous violence versus Ivern players. Santorin just gets jumped on 0-2-0 on the Ivern now, as APA is putting even more of a hurting onto that bottom lane tier 1 turret.
Ivern's a pacifist, so are the observers. They're Ivern fans. Don't want to see that going down. Do have to see the end of it though, and that is another one for Santorin on this Ivern. It's so powerful right now. You have to play it, even though Santorin's not the biggest fan of the champion in general. Meanwhile, though, Rich gonna get at least one turret plate on the top side and soften up number 2 for himself here.
Yeah, they would like to get any of these plates they possibly could. We only got 60 seconds left before there's no more plates available, and you can see there's only that one plate in top taken by Dignitas as an entire team. All 5 still standing mid, all 5 still standing bot. Bottom lane is about to completely collapse for the side of Dig. There we go. Herald's at least going to grab a couple there in the mid lane. There it is. First turret completely destroyed. Bottom lane tier 1 is gone with all the extra plate money that also includes. They've got 1 plate mid, 1 plate top. Team Liquid winning out in the plate war.
Good defensive ward here from Pyosik because he was just sided and Renekton had roamed down. Rich immediately clears that control ward and replaces some extra vision for themselves. Pyosik also replacing PLs, and he's going to come up lane. Now, there is a flash and ult available for Rich, so I think that's why they're a little hesitant here.
Rich also has the fully completed Gore Drinker because he just went brown boots, starting item, mythic item. Summit has the garage sale approach of, hey, I got my tier 2 boots, I got my bombies for wave clear, I got my bramble for trading, little bits and pieces of everything, but nothing really super convincing of any one thing in particular. Pyosik ready to step out of that brush now. CoreJJ is coming up from the river. Pyosik gets the kick, but because Rich flashes, it just knocks him back into the safety of his own turret.
Yeah, necessary move there from Rich. Does get away because roaming up from bottom here was the Team Liquid duo. They're making that swap, trying to transition after the turret plates have fallen. And again, this is the team with the double Yordle demolition squad, the Tristana plus the Ziggs combination. We were mentioning turret plate damage there. They just soften up these outer towers, make a swing on by with the W there from APA and try and take it out. Rift Trailed number 2 here in the sights of Dignitas as they rotate everybody up and place down. Plenty of extra setup here. Santorin's got the Daisy ready. Hasn't popped her quite yet.
Oh, CoreJJ with a nice flash means Jensen Shuffle gets nothing. Dignitas now without that extra playmaking tool. They're going to start up the Herald anyway. Team Liquid might just let them go for it and push mid instead.
They're teleporting in. They want to fight.
Doesn't look like it. All right. Summit's ready to go. The Ornn leads the charge. A big old burp on to Poome. Going to lock him down here at the very start. Santorin shields up himself. Yeon zoned away from the rest of the fight as Dignitas trying to get out, but the Ornn horn is sounded. Jensen knocked up into the air as Yeon escapes off to the side and Poome's in the middle of everybody. The cow gets turned into burgers, and Dignitas are the ones trying to retreat. Pyosik looking for a sonic wave, but he won't get it. Team Liquid calls their fight. They win their fight, and they'll take the objective too.
And they have a really good positioning from the aftermath of the fight because Dig all got chased to top side. They can just send to APA back mid. The Ziggs gets more demolition time on that turret while they take the Rift Trail, but teleport back out for Dignitas. They want to contest.
Yeah, Dignitas is not done with this. It's a double TP from Rich and Jensen. They're ready to get back in here and contest this. The eyeball is open. The Herald's going to be stolen by Santorin. APA and Summit are trying to run away, and CoreJJ is already dead. Dignitas find a great angle here. Jensen's coming back in for a double as he picks up Summit. Pyosik has to continue his retreat, and Dignitas are not just going to take this lion down.
Double teleport, the bane of Team Liquid. It comes back to haunt them, Flowers, again. Oh my goodness, they just wanted too much. They were trying to get those 2 objectives at the same time, like I was talking about, mid tower for the Ziggs and the Herald. But both solo laners from Dignitas coming back in, and then Eyeball is facing Santorin. so it's the Ivern able to get it. Plus, Jensen sweeps on in here for the chase. Enough damage to finish off CoreJJ, trying to chase down Summit there as APA peels for him, but it was the double kill for that Azir. So Jensen getting pretty fed off of that one.
Man, you got that top lane turret for Rich off the back of it, making that gold lead cut in half from what it was. After the fight initially went the way of Team Liquid, they were up almost 3K, now only 1,500, as Dignitas are relieved to be able to stop that Team Liquid momentum. But now, what about Poome? He's got the ulti. He'll lead the charge forward here into the brush right next to the Daisy as he tries to find his engage. Has to pop the ulti as Team Liquid's ready to fight back. Tomo here, tracked down by the CoreJJ ulti. Poome still on the front line. Got to be careful that Alistar ulti isn't going to last much longer. Rich coming in looking for an angle, but he's knocked up into the air. Isolated. The Croc with the Gore Drinker stays alive for a long time, but not long enough. Dignitas seeing if they can get one back. CoreJJ drops first. Jensen taking the kill as Tomo chases after Summit and puts a bullet in his back. Dignitas get a 2 for 1.
Wow, what a turnaround there for the team fight. Dignitas off the back of a lot of work from Rich. Tomo and Jensen move up. They take down 2 for 1. Means Dragon will get started up here. APA Ziggs poking around here.
Man, that's so scary. Those bouncing bombs. One more of those kills Poome.
Yeah, Pyosik does not have smite, so no smite steal, but maybe there's some damage they can mess around with.
Yeah, Pyosik's really daring him on this one. APA still looking for some of those bomb angles. Oh, Poome just barely lives. If APA had a little bit more damage, he takes out the Alistar there.
His bombs definitely leaving a scratch, to say the least. Team Liquid unable to steal away anything, even though hovering around. And this one, too, really delivering. Dignitas cutting down a lot on the lead that Team Liquid had been able to build up in the early game with a really good team fight here. Let's look at the turn and how it happened, because this was the very beginning. They take a lot of damage onto Poome. He gets knocked up, poked down. Looks like it's going to be hard for him to escape as Tomo's shoved out of the top side as well, but Santorin here on the Ivern, keeping the shields on him, keeping him upright. And Rich gets isolated, but big Gore Drinker from him, big Q from him, bunch of healing on the Renekton. Both delays Team Liquid as well as softens them up for Jensen and Tomo to move in and collect the 2 kills on the frontliners.
Right, nicely done from Dig, man. Not only making this gold lead shrink down by magnitudes, but stopping the soul progression was huge there. If that would have been soul point for Team Liquid, all of a sudden it's a demand that you answer every Drake for the rest of the game. At least now they have one more get out of jail free card, just in case the tempo of the game's really unfavorable at that point. 40 seconds until Baron spawns for the first time. Dignitas are doing a good job fighting back.
They certainly are. See what they can do from this position. You've got teleport on Jensen, so they send the Azir to the top side to deal with that wave first. They'll just have Rich wait for his teleport as he goes to collect on bottom side. No outer mid lane towers available, so mid lane push here does grant entry into the jungle, but Santorin is able to at least clear out his blue buff before the rest of Team Liquid arrives. They're gonna have to leave behind those wolves, though. No time to go touch.
The wolves now belong to Pyosik, CoreJJ, and Yeon, as Rich knows there's nothing else for him to do here in the bottom lane, so it looks like he'll go ahead and take a reset for himself. I expect him to be getting close to that second item. Yep, there it is with the Black Cleaver, as Ivern completes his second item as well. And that's one of the nice parts about Ivern, too. Even though Santorin's not having a game where he's super far ahead or even really on par for the largest part of the first 20 minutes of things, because your items are so cheap, you still hit the completed power spikes.
Yeah, having that kind of extra pseudo support is so beneficial, especially when you're playing against the Ziggs. That's a lot of AoE damage.
Yeah,
we mentioned the possibilities with the long range damage being set up by the CC that Team Liquid drafted late, but Santorin's got a redemption. So if Team Liquid lock you down in an area trying to get big AoE Ziggs damage out, redemption immediately comes down, really lessens that blow. The shielding and healing from Santorin, allowing them the possibilities for the turnaround.
All right, let's see where our next fight's going to be. Is Tomo getting tracked down by the depth charge. Team Liquid looking for their angle. Mega Inferno Bomb takes Tomo nearly all the way to 0 as Poome's tanking up. The Alistar ulti keeps him durable, but he's not durable enough. CoreJJ's Ignite takes him down. Ornn forces a flash out from Rich, but Yeon's ready to follow with a rocket jump. An explosive charge seals his fate, and Santorin has to flash to escape the dredge line. Jensen and Tomo and Santorin all still alive, but Team Liquid's got a 5-man squad, and Baron's on the rift.
Yep, it's not enough to keep them alive this time around. Immediately, Team Liquid blowing up 2 members of Dignitas. Baron underway, we can't even see the HP. Dignitas can't see either. Blue goes down so they can see 6,000 health and dropping pretty quickly. Santorin does have a smite.
There's ultis available for Tomo and Jensen if they really want to full send on this, but it looks like they can't get in there in time. Team Liquid, they pick up the objective, and Dignitas hung around so long, now they might get punished even further. Yeon and Pyosik find a little bit of damage onto Santorin, but not enough to do anything meaningful. As the rest of Team Liquid knows, they've got low health, they've used a lot of their resources, a lot of those ultis are now no longer available. It's time to retreat.
Man, the alley-oop from APA is already so powerful. That was on the 2-item power spike there with the Ludens, with the Shadow Flame. Just wait until you see the death cap come through, Flowers. Because look at this. Nautilus ult into Ziggs ult. Boom. Takes out 50% of his HP, and then the explosion from the Tristana as well was what almost brought him down. The redemption, not able to save Poome, so those were the 2 quick and early ones from Team Liquid. Even with that defense from Ivern, not able to keep either of those players up. And Team Liquid now with the Baron buff, they can keep on taking turret after turret after turret. Just send to APA by himself. 1-man demolition crew. Say goodbye to your towers.
And it's what you said earlier too, man. Tristana and Ziggs, 2 of the only champions in the game that can actually affect structures with their abilities in terms of just casting it directly on the thing as opposed to an auto attack enchant or something. This is so scary for Dignitas. This game that you were working so hard to bring back down to a manageable and somewhat close state is now over 4,000 gold away from you, and that number is going to get even higher.
Certainly is. See, Jensen here has to give way, and that's 2 turrets immediately taken by Team Liquid on top side. Then they can just rotate over towards Dragon. We already see Summit on the Ornn trying to push out Rich as the rest of the team comes on over through mid lane. Looks like they say, we'll just take a nice little mid tower as well before we head on down there towards the Dragon. Poome gonna go for the fight though.
Yeah, Poome trying to use the Hex Flash there with the Ivern brush. CoreJJ taking a bit of damage as APA is shuffled in by Jensen. Dignitas finding a big shutdown on the enemy mid laner as Yeon gets tagged with a Void Seeker. Dignitas critically also finding this engage, finding this pick as the Drake is spawning.
Okay, Jensen doesn't have teleport, so he's gonna have to walk back because APA, while he died, did a lot of damage to him. During that time, Team Liquid actually have a chance here to pull something crazy off. But it's not going to last long. That Azir is coming quickly.
Jensen's coming back down now. Summit off to the side. Daisy being the 5th man right now in Jensen's absence. The substitute player tagged in. As Summit has to walk back off to the side here. Pyosik still looking for an angle to try to smite steal this. Rich and the rest of Dignitas don't want to let him do it. They're going to allow the Sonic Wave to expire. And there's Dig getting their 2nd Drake of the game.
Dignitas, right when they need it the most here. They find the initiation. Alistar goes in. They find APA. They section him off from the rest of Team Liquid. Able to get that kill in. Again, Dragon number 2 here. While it's not a full comeback for Dignitas, this does do a lot as far as helping them try and stabilize to allow a few more items to come through.
And we've been singing APA's praises because he's been doing a lot of damage this game. He has 100% kill participation. There's one other player in the game, Kobe, that also has 100% kill participation for their team, and it's the enemy mid laner. It's Jensen, 4-0-2 on this Azir, still deathless, having a great performance. Doesn't quite have the same power level as APA does just because Team Liquid's ahead as a team, so Jensen still needing to hit that 3rd fully completed item. But this could be the win condition here for Dig.
And Jensen has built to kill frontline. You know, Dignitas are looking to go through these tanks with the auto attack as well as the Leandry's burn here for him. Let's see if they can defend on towers though, because APA is coming over. And that satchel charge is ready to go. Summit ult.
Summit Ornn going back, looking to find Jensen, but they won't get him. Pyosik wanted to hit the kick, but Jensen's just knocked back to safety instead. Pyosik with only 50 HP has to flash away, and he survives for now. But Jensen runs him down with the soldiers. Yeon's Buster Shot knocks Rich back away. So Dignitas are only going to get the 1 kill in exchange for the tier 2.
Team Liquid have been getting a little bit greedy. Let's see if they can catch anything here, though. They're waiting in the death brush. Surprise.
Yeah, Rich might end up not where he wants to be here. Oh my goodness, what a lollipop from the dredge line. The skill shot hits Rich, but he's ready to keep the fight going. That's not what he should have been doing now. He just jumps back in, and got a little ahead of himself there.
Yeah, the team said, we got your back. Here comes the teleport from Jensen. And we caught a crocodile. We killed a crocodile.
Yeah.
Observers agree with... interesting.
Yeah. Yep. For those of you guys who don't know, the term lollipop refers to when a skill shot's area of effect artificially expands towards the very end of a line and creates those weird moments where it seemingly just pops on over to something right next to it.
So you know how light bends when it goes into water, and this Nautilus is diving all the time, and we have the super deep water diving Nautilus.
All right, I'm along for this ride. Where are you taking me?
That's why, especially with this skin, you can kind of bend around minions as well and hit champions.
All right. That's the scientific explanation. Okay, I'll go with that, Mr. Science Man. Sure. The light is bending around CoreJJ's dredge lines.
So it looks BS, but in reality,
it only appears BS.
Yeah, it's really not.
In reality,
it's just optics, okay?
Renekton was right in the way of that thing.
Shouldn't have been there, Mr. Crocodile.
Yeah. Again, crocodiles belong in the water, and that was land. You see, that's where the original mistake was made. You might have the, I don't know, the science or the physics down here, but I've got the environmentalism. Nice. Okay, Team
They've
Liquid.
got the flash.
Team Liquid is looking to burn down these buildings from Dignitas. Poome might just die in the Alistar ulti here as the Ornn runs him over. I think they might have just put themselves in a spot to win the game. Tomo's dead too. Dignitas lose 2-0. Baron's back on the table again. Team Liquid's marching over.
They've got so much damage flowers. You can see there's not even time for the redemption heal to drop. They're getting their kills as it's coming down. Team Liquid instantly over to the Baron after those ones. They will pick this one without a fight as well. Maybe you get a tower on bottom side. I don't know how healthy that bottom tower is. That's a reach.
Hit it, Mr. Crocodile. Hit it fast. Hit it again. Hit it hard. Hit it again. Hit it again. There we go. All right. Now he's got to try to slice away from here. All right, he got it. Nicely done. Okay.
Did you know if you're running away from a crocodile, they always tell you to run zigzag because crocodiles are really good in burst speed, but not good with turning radius.
Well, crocodiles chase you. Their legs are so little, they probably just flail all over the place, don't they? Like, I know they're real scary in water, but on land, I figure they would probably look like a cartoon.
That's why a lot of people die to that.
Yeah, it's a good thing I don't live anywhere where there's crocodiles. Yeah.
Underestimating the crocodile on land.
I don't think California has a lot of crocodiles.
Yeah.
I know Ohio don't.
That's probably why we're just talking so much nonsense right now.
Yeah, there's going to be some, we're going to get Twitter messages after this. There's going to be some crocodileologist on Twitter that's been an LCS fan for the last decade going to let us know. But right now, Team Liquid is letting Dignitas know that their base is not long for this world. Again, it's Ziggs and Tristana. APA just instantly destroys the tier 3 turret in the bottom lane. This champion is nuts at taking out structures.
All right, let's see it again. Let's see it again, huh?
Yeah, how about half the HP in a single auto attack? That'll do it.
Yeah, people always talk about the satchel charge, but what about the short fuse?
Yeah, the single auto attack. Dredge line not going to hit Jensen there. CoreJJ went fishing for it. Not quite going to get this one. As Summit's on the front line here, Poome jumps in.
Oh my.
And he immediately regrets his decision-making process on that one.
There's just so much burst on this DL squad.
He died so fast I couldn't even change the speed at which I was talking. I just had to stay conversational with it. All right, cannon minion. What do we got? Plink.
This is much more calm.
Plink.
Here we go. Yeah.
Plink.
Meanwhile, here comes the Ziggs auto. It's coming in. APA.
There it is. Goodbye. All right, Inhibitor's going to die just about as fast. Team Liquid has a 5v4 for the next 8 seconds. Ivern brushes just trying to create some sort of confusion, but the nice part about the bombs, you can throw them right into the brushes anyway. Jensen tried to jump in immediately, has to change course as the first Nexus turret explodes. Rich has already popped the Dominus. Dignitas are going to try to chase him back out of the base here. Baron's still on Team Liquid for another 40 seconds. They're pinging onto the Drake. They don't just want to give this one away to Dig. They're saying, all right, let's fall back, take this objective instead. Dignitas, I feel like you just let it go. Let him have this. You don't have a Renekton ulti.
You're telling him to lie down?
You don't have an Ivern. I'm telling them to not immediately run their faces into the giant rotating buzzsaw of bombs that is Team Liquid.
True. All right. Well, let's see. What other alternative plans can we construct for them besides running your face into the bombs? Well, oftentimes, if you group up as 5 and sneak through the brush, through the fog of war, then you will still lose probably.
Right, yeah.
But maybe you pick somebody off.
Maybe.
Yeah, just maybe. Just maybe.
Maybe Azir can get a massive 5-man shuffle, and then, man, I just feel like I'm.
How about this? Okay, here's the secondary plan. Instead of going to wait in a normal brush, you slowly move up the lane into Ivern brushes, all 5 people.
And they'll think, yeah,
One at a
everybody
time.
would see them. They're like, oh, that's obviously so suspicious. There's no way they're actually in it. Yeah. And then you walk up to it and you die in it. Okay. Well, there's the brush. Nope, Summit's got the sweeper. He's on.
Summit overtook the brush.
He understands our Looney Tunes plan. He's not going to let him have it. But Team Liquid looking to maybe end it. Pyosik jumps on Rich, jumps back away from Rich. Daisy's just going to die to Yeon's auto attacks. That's pretty bad news for Santorin since Daisy's half of Ivern's team fighting power.
Dude, there's so much focus on the Ziggs damage. This other Yordle, the Tristana carry, has been putting in a lot of work here. Yeon now level 17 too. The range that Tristana gets with every level becomes so difficult to deal with when you're faced with this siege scenario.
APA went bowling, hits the strike on Daisy, and she's gone. Dignitas now getting engaged on. CoreJJ leads the charge with depth charge. He's got the stasis to keep himself alive as Pyosik jumps back in. Rich wanted to heal, but he's forced into the Guardian Angel before he can do anything else. Poome knocked away by the Buster shot. Jensen looks for a shuffle, finds a little bit of damage, but as soon as he comes out of stasis, he dies. Shutdown credit over to APA. Dignitas have a 4v4, but they gotta heal up. Summit's really low. Yeon and APA still full health. Tomo's got to be so careful, so respectful of these bouncing bombs. A little bit more damage under the turret, and I say that with it at 90% HP. Rich ain't gonna get anybody. Yeon's going on a rampage. Team Liquid looking for the end as Tomo goes to the back, finds the kill on APA. Dignitas trying to make the hero move, the hero moment, but it won't happen. They're done. The damage from Yeon is enough. The rocket jump right back onto the last man standing, and Team Liquid with a quadra kill for Yeon and a 9,000 gold lead will take down Dignitas and end their regular season on a win.
Vicious pair of Yordles. We just saw Flowers. Yeon deathless on the Tristana. Really nice game here from Team Liquid. They said, no ego, this is an important game. Get a very secure front line to go along with the double carries. Pyosik also on the Lee Sin, having a very good game into the Ivern. Constant invades here, creating plays for the team.
I feel like you're going to have to start banning these Yordles against Team Liquid, man.
Especially the Ziggs versus this team.
Yeah, it's just so oppressive. The range, the damage. And when, like you were talking about, you combine it with something like an Ornn, as long as you have that CC to lock somebody down, all of a sudden the skill shots aren't really skill shots, man. Yeah. And when skill shots aren't skill shots, champ's not balanced.
They're balanced around. Some people missing them sometimes.
Sometimes the damage is supposed to be a 0, but when it's not, well, then you have a problem. Team Liquid, though, they're going to be happy with the way that this one ends. I believe that puts them at... Well, I actually have no idea where their position in the standings is because Foldy sheets are confusing. I accidentally walked my own self into that one. So, unfortunately for Dignitas, it does put them closer to the bottom. As you can see, Team Liquid, honestly, doing pretty good. This was a roster that I think a lot of people were wondering where they were going to get up, where they were going to end up, excuse me, especially after a less than stellar performance in spring, but they're really turning on here at the end of summer.
Play Renekton.
Slowly.
Azir.
No flash.
Go in Azir,
no
go in
flash.
Azir. Nice. Can end.
Okay. Pyosik condition.
I'm going top wave. Oh. She's chunked. No W, but can end.
Okay, we can.
I'm only one time.
Confidently.
I'm doing 4 seconds. On me.
Nice.
I can walk up and hit, maybe.
Depends. Nice.
Kai'Sa. Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
나이스. 쿼드라. 내가 죽이해줘. 나이스. 맛있다.
Quadra kill.
야, 유식 너무 못했다. 미쳤다. 근데 존나 못했네. 나왜 1킬임?
Nicely done from Team Liquid there. The comms at the end to make sure they close it out.
Nice.
And now that they did, nice. It's time to join Gabby and APA for the Verizon postgame interview.
Thank you, Captainflowers. I've got APA. What a great performance on Ziggs. How do you feel you fared on the pick?
I think it's like just a really OP champion. So I think anytime you can get it, it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to win every game on him.
3 games in the LCS, and I believe you have done that, win every game on him. So congratulations to you on that.
Thank you.
Selfishly, I'm very excited for this interview because I've casted you in CLOL,
Yeah,
NACL, and
now
LCS, and even combinations like the Tristana Ziggs. I feel like we've been seeing in NACL for a while, right? A lot of things that translate. What do you feel has translated most from your experience across all of these leagues when jumping into the LCS in the middle of the split?
I think just learning map play from Spawn and TL Challengers. Like, to be honest, everyone's speaking Korean. So like, if I'm not paying extreme attention to the map and what's happening, I have no clue. Like, I was just completely lost. So like, just learning map play in the Challengers team with Spawn is just like an insane advantage right now.
But that's what's so wild is you're saying that it can feel like you're lost at times, but we are admiring the synergy between you and Pyosik specifically. Is it just that you think of the game in the same way, or is there something else going on with the environment to make that seem so?
I think it comes down to a little bit of trust as well. Like in scrims and stuff, we've been playing really well together. So even though we aren't speaking the same language, like we use a lot of pings and stuff. So it's just like good trust, I would say.
And I know you have very much a grinder mentality, spending a lot of time at the facility, building that trust with your colleagues. When it comes to transitioning to playoffs, though, that is an entirely different beast.
Yeah.
Is there something that you're planning to do to alter the way you prepare for that compared to the regular season, or kind of sticking to your guns?
I think just sticking to my guns. Like, I do play a decent amount of League of Legends, so just keep grinding League, and then, yeah.
What is the solo queue number at now? It's like over 1,300 or something?
Probably around there. I haven't done recent math, but it's up there for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, pretty wild. I do love what I'm hearing from you in a lot of the content across the board. I know that you spoke to Travis Gafford recently about how you feel that you've played fairly well, but still have things to work on when it comes to your mid game. That's something that a lot of players say. Mid-game becomes such a difficult thing to grasp. So what do you do as a professional player to work on that when it's such a different environment here compared to, let's say, scrims?
I think it just depends on how the team wants to play. Like, a lot of mid-game is just, you have a lot of choices to make, and it's just how the team wants to play. That's kind of about it.
Having confidence behind those decisions, I'm sure. One thing, it is easier to have confidence in yourself and your team when you have a lot of support. I think you have some of the most supportive parents in the world when it comes to being a professional player. You're also an extremely exciting storyline in terms of the community. What has that been like, receiving that support both from loved ones as well as the fans beyond?
Well, to be honest, I try to stay off of like fan social media in a sense, because I know it can affect me if people like flame me, but it is nice when people like DM me like nice things and stuff.
Yeah, keeping that focus on and off the Rift for sure. Well, APA, thank you so much for joining me for this interview. We are going to kick it to a break, but on the other side, our producers are putting the lounge to the test with a secret exam before we gear up for Cloud9 versus Fly. See you there.
Okay, Team Liquid. The flash. Team Liquid is looking to burn down these buildings from Dignitas. Poome might just die in the Alistar ulti. Here's the Ornn runs him over. I think they might have just put themselves in a spot to win the game. Tomo's dead too. A little bit more damage under the turret, and I say that with it at 90% HP. Rich ain't gonna get anybody. Yeon's going on a rampage. Team Liquid looking for the end as Tomo goes to the back, finds the kill on APA. Dignitas trying to make the hero move, the hero moment, but it won't happen. They're done. The damage from Yeon is enough. The rocket jump right back onto the last man standing. And Team Liquid with a quadra kill for Yeon.
I've got the Samsung 990 Pro series. Shall we get started then? This speed exceeds all expectations. Reading speeds are 40% quicker than before, and writing speeds are 55% faster. Through the in-house controller, the per watt performance has improved up to 50%. The 990 Pro's nickel coating controller for its smart thermal solution technology controls heat. Playing computer games? Obviously the best.
내